I was going through mine and mine.
Excuse me,
was-
Mary. I'd
Mine-
like to call the meeting to order. It's 1:30.
Okay.
Thank you kindly. I appreciate it. So, hi there, Nicole. Welcome, and welcome, Barbara. And I understand Tina will be here. She's coming.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, thank you. So, we have a few people that we know are unable to make the meeting. They've been, unfortunately, exposed to some of the germs that are going around, and they decided to not share them, which is a good thing.
We appreciate that.
Yes, and we do appreciate that, so, but we do have a quorum. We just made a quorum, so we are set and good to go. And a reminder, it is an open meeting, and we must adhere to the open meeting laws. And I'll say no more about that. Do board members have any announcements before I ask the director? And I have a couple.
I don't have any.
Anyone else? Anybody? Any announcements? Mary, what were you asking about? Was it an announcement or other
Inquiry.
business?
No.
No announcements? Okay. Do you wanna go first?
Sure. I'll start by saying happy birthday, Marge.
Oh,
We just missed it.
Oh, don't worry about it. I don't count them anymore.
Oh, My other announcement was about Tina, and she's not here yet.
Oh, well, I'll do mine first
Yeah,
if you
so
wanna wait.
I'll wait, yeah.
Okay. So, I have a couple of announcements, actually. The Joy, her name was Richards, and she's married, and I can't remember her last name now.
Hofa?
Anyway.
Oh, it's different.
Yeah, she's the reporter from the Littleton Independent,
Mhm.
and she was here for another meeting with interested people about the Independent, and it was a pretty good turnout, I thought. Several of us were there, several of the friends were there, and several people that came in to, ask her some questions. And it all centered around the fact that, a lot of the news that is currently in the Littleton Independent is not Littleton news.
That's right.
And people were expressing their concerns and their desire to have it be a Littleton-only newspaper with Littleton news, because there's plenty of news to get out in this town.
Mhm.
So, and she was very gracious. She agreed, she wants to know more. She is coming to the Combined Friends and COA board meeting this Friday to gain more information about that effort that we've joined forces to meeting about. So I would welcome anyone in the public too who would like to come to that meeting this Friday. It's in the Selectmen's meeting room downstairs, room 103, 130. And we've been working on the fact that seniors need more space in Littleton. So everyone is welcome. That is also an open meeting, so anyone
Wait a minute,
from
now,
town can
is
come.
this a separate meeting from the space, from the combined meeting, or?
Yes, the COA board and the Friends agreed that they wanted to meet this Friday on February 15th.
Yes, I know that, but what
I'm-
has this got to do with?
I'm inviting the public that are viewing, our viewers, to attend that meeting if
Oh,
they would
okay.
like to come.
This is separate from the lady from the Independent, okay.
Yes,
Well,
Is
she'll
she
be there.
We invited her as well.
she's coming. The Joy is going to attend that meeting also. And the other, another announcement I have, which actually is a segue off from the Independent, is I wanted people, the viewers, to make sure they get a hold of the Littleton Independent and read the letter to the editor that Paul Avella submitted and it's in last week's edition that came out last Friday. So please do read that. He really expressed the need for increased space for Littleton seniors very efficiently, I think. I think he did a great job. And, whether or not he points out, whether or not how the space needs are met, there's options in there. He clearly stated that he was advocating for the DCU building himself, but that's his personal opinion. And the time is now to be addressing this need. And I am mentioning it because I would like seniors that are watching this meeting to share the information with friends, help get the need out. People need to be informed, and this is the entire town, not just seniors. So please share that information. and take a look at his letter if you please can get access to it. Yes, Barbara, do you
Can I make
have an
a comment?
announcement?
I want to mention about that, that
She has
not
a
only
copy.
do we want people to read it, but we'd also like people to write their opinions to
True.
the Independent, so that we know the town is behind us.
Or not.
Hopefully.
Or not.
Yeah, or not. And you do know, even George Sanders wrote a note to the Independent. So we're starting to get some news in there about what we're doing.
We need people to be informed.
Right.
And so, however,
And
any of
care.
our viewers can get the word out or help with that process. And it is not just for seniors, everybody needs to be involved in this decision making. So, thank you, that's a good point. Okay. And the only other piece of information I have is there is a selectmen's meeting tonight. It starts at 6 o'clock. Often they start at 6:30, so don't get fooled if you think you're gonna be there on time at 6:30. And there are several items on their agenda that are interesting. So I'm planning on attending myself.
Me too.
And Mary is,
Me too.
so, and Liz, so, and Barbara wants to say something about that.
Yeah. Today I have a lot to say, I think.
Oh.
But I was just looking at the agenda, and the needs assessment is at closer to 7:30.
Correct.
Yeah. So the things
Just-
before it might take. But if you're interested, I think that it would be great to see a lot of people, seniors especially, at this meeting.
It is, yes. All right, any other announcements? I think we've covered it, and Liz
I
has.
have one more. So this is Tina Mater's last board meeting. She's retiring. March 7th will be her last day in the office. So I just wanted to thank Tina for her 27 years of
Not that many, no.
24,
Yeah.
24
Yes.
part-time,
Right.
full-time combination of hours. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Thank you.
Before I even got here, Tina put together this whole notebook where she wrote down by hand everything I could ever need to know about this position, and that's been my Bible since I got here. You're so thoughtful and you're so dedicated, and
Thank you.
you've given your heart, your soul, your blood, sweat, and tears to this place. So I wanted to say for myself, and I'm sure the board,
Oh, yes.
that we appreciate you and thank you so much.
Well,
And
thank
we
you.
wish
It's
you well
been
in
a
your retirement.
privilege to work with all of you and be part of all the boards and all the community. Thank you. Thanks.
Thank you, Tina.
Thank you.
Well, there comes a time when you feel that it is a time to step down and you have other things in life you want to do. So we appreciate that, Tina, but we will miss you sorely.
We won't let her go that easily.
No.
Oh, Tina could join the board.
Oh,
I'm
she's
not a
not a little too resident.
resident.
Not a resident, that's right.
Move to Littleton. All right. You have
One
an
thing I want to
announcement, Mary?
say is Nicole had a good mentor, so I'm sure she'll be doing great.
Yep,
Mhm.
that's
You
true.
had
very
a
true.
good teacher.
Yeah,
Yes, the
very
best, the best. Nicole came up with a lot of skills and a lot of wonderful qualities, but thank you.
Yes, yes.
All right. Lots going on, so. All right, are we done with announcements? I just want to be sure. Okay. So we move on to accepting the minutes of the January 14th meeting. Bob just so moved.
Second?
Is there any, seconded? Is there any discussion? Hearing none, then I will entertain a motion.
I make a
You already
motion to
did.
accept it.
Okay, well, I'm just asking, I'm sorry. I entertain a vote. Sorry, said the wrong word. It's one of those days, you're gonna have to watch me.
Can't wait for tonight.
All right, so,
All in favor?
I got that, Bob, I was about to get it out. All those in favor of accepting the minutes from January 14th?
Aye.
Any opposition? No, and I think it's unanimous, Bob. Thank you. Okay, Barbara, come back, or come up here. Please.
Okay, here I am. So, first of all, I want to say that the luncheons that the Friends are giving once a month are really going very well. when we started hosting these luncheons, we used to get 65 to 75 people. And it really has been growing because now we have to turn people away. This particular time, it was 130 people, I believe, that wanted to come. But of course, we can only handle 100, which kind of reminds us we might need more space. But anyway, you know, it is worth the work that we do because we know that we're reaching more and more people, and it really does make us more aware that we need a true senior center.
Barbara, can I make a comment? A friend of mine got his broadcaster, immediately called the office and asked to be put on the list, and it was already full.
Yes,
There's
I'm going to
something
talk
wrong
about
with
that.
that.
I am going to talk about
Yeah.
that.
That was in
Thank you.
my,
It was,
I'm covering that
Thank
too.
you, thank you.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, what happens is, we've been saying, well, first of all, because we were getting fewer people, like 65 and 75, we thought, well, maybe if we let them sign up earlier, they will remember that we just announced there's going to be a luncheon and it's going to be like this. As it turns out, that's a mistake now. Now we are going to make sure that the first of the month is the date. Is that correct? The first of the month is the date that people can call in to make their reservation so that, you know, we don't have this overbooking and also too much trouble for the gals that are
It
doing the
makes for
phone.
bad
and the-
feelings.
I don't know if it'll help since we are getting more people anyway, but I am trying to tell people that if you missed out this time, well, you said your friend called immediately though.
As soon as he got his thing, and he was told it was already full.
Yeah.
We had
Oh,
98 people signed up by that first Monday after the
And
broadcaster.
my wife's comment was, people are gonna start calling in and saying, put my name on for every one of the
Yeah.
luncheons.
but you can't do that, right?
New policy.
Not yet.
I'll talk about.
Well, some of us saw your ad, in fact, I had it, on the 8th. And I understand that was too early to sign up. Because when I went down to the office, I got a very hard time.
Oh, really? I'm sorry. And I'm really sorry for everyone that can't come because we have to stop at a certain number. We would love
Let's see.
to have everyone, and we certainly would love to have people that maybe missed the last one be able to come to the next one. But
was-
I don't know exactly how we're going to handle that.
I was told they have to wait until they get the broadcaster, and I was there, I think, on a Monday, and they were just sending it out, and that was the last of the month.
Can we maybe?
So it's all fouled up.
Well, and that's why there was a meeting of the minds, and there is a new policy, so maybe Liz should address that and clarify for us.
Skip ahead and do that right now? Or?
Hey, why don't you do that now, since
Okay.
it's out there and people are thinking about it, and we know people are upset, so
Yeah.
do you mind?
No, so just as Barbara said, I met with the Friends Board, what was it, last week? So we're instituting a new policy that's gonna be printed in the broadcaster. All events and luncheons, you sign up the first of the month or after. No more signing up beforehand, just to make it fair and even across the board for all of our programming, to give everyone a fair shot. Luckily, we have 5 phones that can be answered on that first of the month.
That's
So
too bad.
we'll be able to capture everyone, hopefully, who calls in on that first busy day. But I know it was advertised in the Action Unlimited,
Yeah.
and as soon as people saw that, they started calling in. And Mary, when you called in, we hadn't even made the sign-up sheet yet.
I know
Because
I
it was-
started
it was
it,
early.
and then later I was told there was none, and I got to be number 75 when they finally put me on.
Yeah, like I said, that first day, we had 98.
Yeah, they're trying. They are trying.
We're doing
We
the
are
best we
trying.
can.
Well, I think
I
that's
have
a-
to say
a good
again,
move.
though,
Yeah, so we're
That-
gonna have that printed right in the broadcaster.
in the
make
broadcaster
it
this
fair and
time, for the St. Patrick's Day lunch, I managed to put in that you don't sign up before the 1st of March, and then the last day is the 18th, giving them this space.
Right.
But again, I don't know what to tell people who call and the list, I mean, it could get filled in 5 days anyway. you know, and I just don't know what to do about that.
That's
If we
okay.
had an extra room, I'd put them in there.
We're working on the room.
Yes, yes.
What about using the kitchen as, for overflow? Could you add
Well,
those
the
30
point
people
is, we
there?
have a caterer, remember, doing this. And have a certain budget and everything, and, you know, the room sometimes is being used by lunch, the the caterer and,
It's not very practical, really, as far as being organized and having, it's not really a good
Yeah.
solution. We
So,
need more space.
it
That's
is
the
hard.
solution.
We're trying.
We'll try.
Liz is trying with her gals and guys, and
And
we just have to
apologize.
see how it works this time. We'll
Right.
keep
That's
trying,
good.
but we only can handle 100 people. Maybe we kind of sneak in 5 more sometimes.
Where the people eat, where the tables are, off the kitchen, could you use that room?
That's what I just asked.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, and they said that the caterer's there oftentimes.
You know, they
Oh,
need to
I
use
thought-
the kitchen.
Oh, the caterer uses
And I'm
that.
saying kitchen, meaning that whole room,
Oh, all right.
because
I
they
didn't
spread things
understand
out.
that.
They have people coming in to help them
Right,
and all this,
okay.
so.
It's just not practical to.
No, no.
No.
Nope, we're
No.
trying, that's all I can say.
Yeah.
And I want to apologize to anyone who couldn't come because we had to turn them away. I feel really bad about that. I am going to ask them a question, though, because I keep getting this from a few people. Now, people say to me that a lot of the people that come are coming for free food. I say they're coming for camaraderie,
Yes.
maybe for both.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want people saying they come
Free
for
food.
free food. I resent it very much because I know
Yeah.
that they have a really good time. I feel they're having a good time when they're there.
There.
And you're seeing friends, even if it's once a month, even if you sit at the same table with the same people every month, so would I invite the same people to my house to dinner
Yeah.
because I want to visit with them.
I
So-
come for free food too.
Well, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's what we're doing. Sometimes we do have to charge, like St. Patrick's Day. But anyway, I get a little bit miffy about that, and it's just me.
Well, the purpose of it is to provide a social experience as well as a nutritious meal.
Yeah,
So it's two-pronged.
yeah,
And-
this is the way I feel.
Yeah.
And it's also much like the neighborhood supper. That oftentimes is, you have the same tables, the same group, and it's great.
Yeah,
And-
there you go. I'm glad to hear,
Yeah.
be reminded of that, because there you go, that's it. Okay, so next month, we're going to celebrate St. Patrick's Day on March 20th, but it's catered by Neshoba Tech again. They're great at what they do. It's corned beef and cabbage, but here's where it comes. We're asking you to call starting on March 1st, please. You can't sign up before.
Okay.
Call the Council on Aging office so they can do their list the way they are, able to do it. It's just a lot of work, otherwise. Nancy wants me to announce that the Book Buddy program will be March 8th. And I'm sure she still needs people to sign up to read to the children. And that, yes, we're very happy to work with the Council on Aging on our meetings for space needs and, trying to see what we can do to help bring in more seniors who want to come and use the facilities. I don't know that I have anything else, if anybody.
Well, I'd like to add, at the Friends and the COA meeting, I was very impressed with your husband. He did a lot of background work.
He's still
He's a
working,
hard
still working
worker.
at it. He said he's in for the long haul and
He did good.
wants to help all that he can.
Yeah.
Also, I forgot to mention that the luncheon for St. Patrick's Day, it's going to be $5 this time for Littleton residents and $7 for non-residents.
Now, do the Littleton people get priority over the
Yes.
Harvard or whatever?
Yes, the non-resident people go to the bottom of the list, and whoever doesn't, you know, how many we have, they can move up.
Mhm.
But so far,
When does
This-
Book
this
Buddy
is-
start?
I'm sorry?
When does Book Buddy start?
March 8th.
March 8th.
Okay. So I think that I have everything. Thank you for reminding me.
You know what, Barbara, I just thought about this because you mentioned it today, and I've neglected to mention the fact that you have, your show in March has the independent
Yes.
Report of Joy.
Yeah,
You might
Joy
wanna
is on the show
mention that.
for the month of February, and she does explain everything that she does and what the paper does, and how she's trying to get us, because I'm sure her list about, like I said to her, about people saying, why isn't there news about the Littleton people when we have so much about Westford?
Yeah.
Well, I had to laugh because she said Westford complains there's too much about Littleton.
Right.
How's that possible? But anyway, so you're
They're
going.
doing the same
you're-
thing with the Westwood paper?
Yeah. They have a paper, yeah,
That's what I
Westford.
said, but they must be doing the same thing. They must be putting all the Littleton stuff in there.
I don't think so. I don't think so. We'll have to look at it. I don't want to say absolutely no, I don't know, but we'll have to see that.
But do
But-
watch Barbara's show that's for the month of February if you want more information. Because the Independent, we know a lot of people have stopped subscribing to the Independent because of this. And so, and I'm sure some of our viewers have stopped also.
Right.
So we're trying to get more information in and to correct that as much as we can.
I don't think they know actually how many people have quit. And that's too bad, because everybody I talk to is saying, I'm not getting it anymore.
No.
Because I just don't see anything that applies to
No,
us.
It is a complex situation, and that's why they should watch your show so they can understand it. We can't get into it here today, but.
Yeah, she is
Yeah.
trying,
Yes.
she is trying.
Yeah.
She's one person. The interesting thing I will mention right now is that what she does goes to Texas,
That's what I was gonna say. I
and
don't-
then it goes through another state,
It's
like
very complex.
Virginia or something, and then it comes back to her, and they don't know a thing about us, or they don't. All they want to know, I don't know what they do. I guess they must.
All they need to do is they try to fill the space.
Yeah, and so
And
they probably
don't know
see
what
things.
town is close to the other one at all.
Yeah,
So it is complex. Watch Barbara's show.
yeah. We'll
Yeah.
What day is your show on?
every day.
Every day?
Every
Okay.
day
Go to
and
LCTV.
around noontime. LCTV, you can look it up on your computer too.
I did.
And you can
I-
also watch it on
Yeah.
the computer.
Years ago, Mabel Bergman used to attend our meetings and put the articles in the paper. Many things were not for public information, but she would screen it. The Sun is like the Independent. There's not much in there on Littleton.
Well-
It's on all the other towns.
Littleton, we do send them things when we have something, but the Lowell Sun actually does some pretty good work about us, to tell you the truth. Sometimes the Independent doesn't have it and the Lowell Sun does. So
Hi, Patty.
I'm not gonna
Oh, Patty.
I'm not going to complain too much about
Hi
the Lowell
there.
Sun. Anyway, that's my story
Thank you,
for
Barbara.
Thank you,
today.
Barbara.
Yes, thank you very much. And welcome, Patty. We're glad to see
Hey.
you. We're glad to see you.
Oh, okay. Glad to be seen.
Yes.
Mary,
All right, is there anything else for Barbara McRae at the moment?
can I have a copy of that letter from Paul? Copy from
You done,
Paul?
are you done carrying on a conversation down there, please?
I'm just asking her for a copy of that letter.
Okay, thank you. Patty doesn't have, and I set them over here, wait a minute.
You mean this? Okay.
Well, here they are, nope. Ah,
Here.
I'll take one of those, yes,
I'll
please.
take one of these.
I know I have an extra one, and I'm not sure what I do with it, but thank you. Okay. All right. So So we have come down to number 5 on our agenda, old business. And the first item is an update on the Town Building and Space Needs Analysis Working Group. That's such a mouthful to get out all the time.
Make a copy if you want of it.
Excuse me, Mary. Thank you. So, the Space, Building and Space Needs Analysis Group met January 30th. That was the last meeting. And at that time, Kevin Heffernan, who is the OPM, the town is hired, and that is the OPM stands for, let me see if I can get this right now, the Owner's Project Manager. And he is the person that will be managing the town's request to look at space needs. And he was asked very specifically to make sure he looked at the DCU building first and get that going. But they had to, what happened the 30th was that they set plans to open the request for qualifications on February 5th, which was last Tuesday. And I believe that happened. And then the plan, according to the plan that was established at the meeting, tomorrow, the 12th of February, they were going to be doing interviews with the applicants, you know, the people who applied, the engineers and the architects, et cetera, who applied. So things are moving along a little bit faster than had been happening. So there is the Selectmen's agenda tonight. Barbara mentioned it earlier, but on the agenda at 7:45 tonight, it says Building and Space Needs. So there will be discussion about that committee and whatever tonight at the Selectmen's meeting also, just to catch you up to date, basically. So that's where that's at. And the next meeting is planned. It is supposed to be this coming Wednesday night. So we'll see what happens with that. But that's basically where things are at with that committee. Any questions? And I don't know exactly what the agenda is going to be tonight. I mean, I know it's about the space. So we'll see. People can go to the meeting. If you are going, it's not an official board meeting, so I would please, we don't need to sit together if you're going as a citizen. And there's no need for the board to be there as a group, so. No questions on that? Okay, thank you. And the next item is a discussion, a DCU discussion. I just need to make it very clear that this discussion is for board members only, sorry. But I won't be recognizing people that are not on the board during this discussion. But it's important, I think, that we as a board talk about the DCU building and our feelings about that and our perceptions or our knowledge about it, and make sure we're all on the same page or whatever, and share information. So with that in mind, I would like to read to you the purpose of the council, the COA, so that we set that framework and have an understanding about it. So the Council on Aging, in our rules and regulations, states, the Council on Aging acts in an advisory capacity, focuses on identifying the needs of the senior population, educates the community on issues, advocates on their behalf, and recruits active members of the COA board. The COA does not direct the Director of Elder and Human Services or appoint the director or staff. So, and obviously, it is our job to support the director. So, we can get that later. And so therefore, with that in mind, I would like to ask the director to kick this discussion off, because she has information and she's been pretty busy since she came back, trying to catch up with all of this that's going on, so.
Yeah, most of this did spark because I am still playing catch up. So since I've been back, I haven't had an opportunity to sit down with all of you as a director and the board to really discuss this specific building. I've kind of heard from different people or overheard conversations or been in the Friends and COA joint board meetings, but I haven't had an opportunity, just us, to discuss the building. I did have an opportunity to finally get over there and tour the building, which is absolutely beautiful. It's a great building. And I just wanted to share how I feel about this particular building, and my thoughts on this whole process in general. So I want to make sure that Littleton gets the absolute best senior center that we can possibly get. I'm someone who likes data and facts and figures, and I want to make sure that everything leading up to this is done correctly so we do get the absolute best that we can get. That being said, after touring the building and starting to gather information, it's clear to me that I need some additional information. So the process with Kevin, the OPM, gathering the information, getting the architect together is a great first step. So I'm excited to gather more information about the kitchen capabilities, the parking lot capacity, and just really seeing if this building is the one that absolutely fits our needs. From just going and touring it, I would love for us to be there. It's absolutely beautiful, it's bright, it's spacious, there's plenty of space for us to hold programs and activities, but I wanna make sure that it fits our needs 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. I think I would be doing a disservice to all of you if I just said, it's a beautiful building, let's jump right into it. So I wanna make sure as a director that I'm clear with what I'm saying about what I think is best for us to decide on. I think we need to gather this information first from the OPM before we stand up and say, before we declare that the DCU building is the one we absolutely absolutely want. So I just wanted to open that up to a discussion to see how all of you feel. I think it's an absolutely gorgeous building. I would love to hear more from the architects, and I hope they say everything is perfect and it's gonna work out for exactly your needs.
When do we expect a report from the architects and what are we talking about on the timeline?
I don't even know that. I have an answer to that because they're just actually interviewing people tomorrow night. So it would be at least a couple of weeks anyway, I would guess, before they could even pull any data together, wouldn't you think? For that building, if they just focus on that.
I'm just concerned that it's getting away from us for the May meeting.
Well, the selectmen
have it before then.
Yeah, they will have it before then, and the selectmen are very aware of the timeframe, and what is needed.
Yeah, but are the architect and the, what do you say, Littleton planning manager, OPM?
He's aware. Kevin was at our
Okay.
meeting on the 30th. Kevin is very aware of the need and the, desire to look at it in terms of getting it on the warrant. But I don't know the answer to that specific question. I really don't, myself. And I represent you all on the board, on that group, in that group. But maybe we'll hear more tonight. I don't know. But I'm suspecting we probably might.
I think so. And I think regardless of what we discussed today, we absolutely need to keep discussing the need for this building, any building. We need more space, absolutely. We can't keep functioning with just 2 rooms. We're doing disservice to the town. We're not being able to provide at the capacity we should be providing. And this is not just elders too, it's the entire community for Elder and Human Services. We're not just letting down the seniors by turning people away, we're letting down the entire town if we can't serve at the capacity we were meant to.
So, and that is an important piece of, in my mind, an important piece of it all, because it is the Department of Elder and Human Services. So, yes, and the elders, but the space is combined, and that's a good use of space, because human service needs, can be met in a building where it's considered to be a senior center.
Right.
And as now, you have the 2 outreach workers have offices in what's considered to be space, overall arcing. And we have to think about economy and space in town. Yes, Bob?
I would be very concerned that we make sure that there is capable, the space is capable of handling some new things for younger seniors, so that we get people of a younger age involved. And I'm thinking immediately of a exercise room or whatever, that kind of thing, but there could be a lot of other things that could be involved. And that should be a part of the thinking. We
Absolutely.
should not be just thinking about what we have and how we can spread it out, but what we need to have, and who we're trying to reach and deal with that, so.
Yep, exercise room, a technology room, access to computers for everyone. I think we really need to
Libraries.
plan for the future.
We need to find out a lot more before we can even apply for grants.
What do you mean, Mary?
Well, survey price and blah, 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 all down voting for it at the town
that's all
meeting.
being-
Yeah, it's a long, long way.
Well, that's why the selectmen have been involved in this. They're aware of the DCU and the potential, and whether or not it's the right space, too, they're aware. So, yeah, but
And it's my impression that the selectmen are very, very supportive of the senior space needs at this time.
I think they are too. They definitely know that the time has come and the time is now. We can't ignore that the statistics, say we should be 12 or 13,000 square footage of space for seniors in town, for the 2,270 seniors that are now in the town of Littleton, and we have 3,800 square footage. That's pitiful, really. So, yes, Patty.
Sorry, my voice is a little off and I'm not feeling up to par, but I will do my best here.
Well, we're grateful you're here.
Pardon me?
We're grateful you made it.
Yeah. The senior center project is more than essential for the town, whether it's DCU or whatever. I went to DCU too. It's a wonderful building. It has a lot to offer to everybody. And I've been on gone to both meetings with the Friends and with the council. And I wanted a senior center because I'm a senior. And I'd like a nice building as well. Downstairs it's nice, but I'd like a nice building.
That's right.
And we now have everybody's attention in the town hall. And we need to keep their attention. But aside from that, looking at the DCU and having worked in my career in looking at buildings and the needs in a big picture, I unfortunately look at a big picture and that's a problem for me and maybe a problem for other people because I like to look at the big picture. And when I went to DCU and closed my eyes and looked all around, I thought, well, there's just a few things that bother me. And I kind of have to put those on the table for everybody to think about as well. They're not negatives, but the things we need to think about, whether it's DCU or someplace else. If we look at DCU or any other building, we need to think of renovations and what we want. Because we're going to have to renovate whatever we do, and renovations cost money. We really don't have on paper a plan of what we want in the building. Example, we have a wish list that we put together as a COA that we talked about a while back of, an exercise room with equipment, an area for blood pressure, podiatry, somebody who doesn't feel well, where they can go and get some privacy. The kitchen, obviously. Working space for the outreach workers, reception area, offices for administrative staff. All of those things require renovations. But we really haven't thought, and even Gail in the kitchen needs an area that needs some private area for her to work. Storage, all of that. We need to really make a plan, number one, which requires renovation. Location was another thing that came to my mind on DCU. It's on a major road, busy traffic. One way or the other, getting in and out of that building can be problematic. Just a thought. Obviously, there's a sewer septic issue, possibly, till we really have it looked at. What else did I write here? These are not negatives now. These are things that we need to think about. If the town has other options, like the space committee, whatever they're thinking about doing back here, what is in that plan? We don't really know, but we really should know whatever options exist, I think, before pursuing whatever is available. I think we would be remiss as a board to our seniors, to ourselves and the town if we didn't look at all options. I just don't think we're doing ourselves any favor. And if we think about it, the town in the past has looked at DCU to purchase that for town offices, and they said no. I kind of wonder why they said no,
Yeah, why?
and no to renovations to that.
Yeah.
I'd be curious to see why they said no, but it's gonna be okay for us to purchase it.
From my understanding, the renovations to turn that building into a town hall would be too costly.
Too
Would be what?
costly.
Too costly to turn it into a town hall, a functional town hall, with all the offices and different departments here.
Oh, interesting. I was curious about that.
But that's a lot more offices than we would have in a senior center. We're talking meeting rooms, we're talking smaller offices, not several different departments.
Thank you. I was
But
curious
we're
about
not
that.
talking a senior center, we're talking an available center for all kinds of things.
At DCU?
No, here,
Oh, the campus idea?
yeah.
Yeah, the campus idea that the Space Needs Committee is discussing would be the new library, a new town hall, and a new community center, multi-generational center, which would be parks and recreation on one side, senior center on the other, and they were planning that in the slope side back here. But that's just an idea that they're exploring.
And that's part of what the OPM will be looking at too. You know, what's the best way for the town to go, you know, and even looking at that complex. The library's pretty much all set, and the architect, you know, drawings and ran and everything, but the other two buildings are not.
So Marge, through you, including Patty, including everyone on the board, but to Liz, do I understand that the OPM would be looking at these three things that Patty brought up in terms of renovating and does the building need renovations? And if so, how would the renovations have to go in terms of sewer, septic, location? would that be information that would come back to us as a board, to you, and through you to us, about these things? Yes,
Mhm.
okay.
Their job is to look at the whole big picture and to see whether it could be economically, feasible and a better option than putting up a brand new building, basically. And given all of those, they are aware of the concerns about the septic system. They are aware of, the concerns about parking. They are aware, of even thinking of it in terms of even maybe there's space to move a couple of other town offices over there, like the Veterans Agent, that would fit in with the whole outreach, human services part of things. So they're exploring it all. They are. The OPM is. He is the person that works with the architects and the engineers, directs them to get the information, and then brings the information back to Anthony and to Chuck DeCoste, who's chair of this, and Cindy Napoli, who is the vice chair of this space committee. So, yeah, he's informed about that. He was well informed last week, I would say, at the meeting. You were there, right? Yeah. So it's just that, I think it's fair to say that he's pretty aware of the questions that are out there. So that's a good thing, in my mind, that we're able to maybe have, the timing will allow us to get feedback and to know, because it could be just a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing if we can get some answers to some questions. And, if it means that, we don't know, whatever. So we have to wait. I don't want to come up with negatives either, because I love the building myself. I really do, and I'd love to see, even the parking, I'm concerned about that, but, there might be ways of dealing with that. I mean, I've heard things, people have offered ideas and comments about available additional parking over there, and they're gonna find out if that's accurate, that's all.
And in terms of the kitchen, I was talking with Gail Dalton, and it's not unheard of to have a kitchen off-site from a senior center. She's done it before in other towns. She's covered in other towns before where the meals are served off-site. So if we couldn't have a kitchen over there, it's not ideal. It's not what I would dream for this, but it is possible, and it is not unheard of to have a kitchen off-site.
Well, that's good news, too, see? So if you don't explore these things, you don't know.
Yeah, we have to ask the questions.
Very good. Other thoughts? Because we haven't had a chance to sit down as a group to really talk about it and know where we as a group are with this whole thing, and that's important, I think, and that's why it's on the agenda. Here we are meeting with the friends and everything, we don't want to be, we want to know how we all think, too. So,
for myself, the way I'm proceeding is that I would like to continue stressing the need for a building, the need for some space, without specifically stating DCU until I have some answers for this information. Then I will get up and declare that this is the building that we need, but I'd rather have all of my facts straight first.
Now, are there any other buildings in town that would even be able to be utilized? I mean, anything up on Taylor Street or anything like that?
Not that we're
that's
aware
already
of.
ADA compliant? I don't think so. I don't think there's
aware of
any,
that.
that's maybe one of the few buildings in town that is ADA compliant. I mean, when you think about just that one feature,
Yeah, I know.
I don't know for sure, but I'm guessing.
I know.
If they would be older structures and might be even more costly to renovate. I mean, there is a piece of, that building that where a lot of, there would have to be some renovations, but a lot of office space is perfectly fine, the way it is now. So, I
So
don't
we
know.
just have to wait until the OPM can bring us some information. And hopefully,
That committee gets the
it's going
information.
to be quickly. Quickly.
Well,
I'm
go
sorry.
ahead, no, go
Well,
ahead.
the other interesting portion of all of this is when a municipality is going to purchase a building, you can't just go out and say, this is the building I want to buy. You have to put out a request for bids. You can specifically tailor it, so maybe only one building fits your criteria, so they can come back to you with the bid, but you can't just go out based on mass state law or regulations. Just can't be like, that's the building, you have to put it out.
So that would mean you would have to, you, I'm assuming being the director, you would specify, square footage,
Mhm.
A, B, C, D, E, F, G.
Yep.
That only the DCU building would fit the criteria?
Yeah, you could, from what I understand, you could write it up saying, we want a building that's 20,000 square feet within a mile from the common, with all of these other things that meet our criteria.
Does anybody know anything about Bank of America? They've closed.
That's
They've
very
moved-
small.
It's very small.
Ah,
It's not big
Too
enough.
small.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
way too small.
But no, I don't know anything about it, but it's way too small, I
You're
bet you
right.
can tell.
Well, having been there, I really and truly hope that they don't find any huge negatives
Mhm.
that make it not an acceptable option for us. I do love it. I think that, you know, trying to walk into it with an open mind of where could things go, how could things be, I think it would meet a lot of our needs. And I think that it has space to grow with the senior population. Obviously, if there was something major wrong with it, then we need to know before we own it.
Right,
I mean, before we own it.
yeah, I share that same sentiment.
And don't forget, we as the town, not the board.
Correct,
Right.
correct, correct. But we are the town. I mean, we all live here, we are the town.
Mhm.
And town representatives.
But, you know, I mean, there are three options right now, and it's the DCU center, and it really, you know, as far as the cost of purchasing the building, you know, if we don't have other huge
expenses,
but, you know, who knows? And I think Paul pointed that out in his letter and said there were three options, you know, building a brand new building from scratch, which we know is gonna cost what? How many million?
They guesstimated
15.
10.
10 to 15 million or something like that, you know, which is a huge chunk of change. So, and then, or renovating, the other thing that Paul talked about was, renovating, building near the current town hall. Build near the current town hall. Renovate space in the current town hall, which it's already been looked into, and it would be exorbitantly expensive, I think. That's kind of been explored. Purchasing the DCU building, so. But the OPM and that whole piece of things is gonna be looking at those other options too.
Can I ask a question? The OPM, this gentleman, has he done this a lot before? I don't
Yes.
even know who he is.
He's from Vertex, and actually he worked for the town, I do believe, with the fire, it was either the police station or the fire station. He functioned as the OPM. And so the town knows him
Okay,
and trusts him and has confidence in him.
okay.
Yep. So, I just met him last week for the first time. Oh, yeah, it was 2 weeks ago. So, but he's very nice. And he obviously knows the town. He's done work for the town before in this capacity, so I think that's a good thing. And we have two selectmen that are on this committee that, the space committee, that are in support of it. I think that's a fair statement. They're very much supporting it, Chuck and Cindy.
Yeah.
And as I understand it, other selectmen are too, so. So,
Which is
but
good.
they have the final, obviously, the final say, and I'm sure they're looking at, you know, what would be involved and everything else too, so. But in the meantime, I agree with our director, and I hope everybody else does, that we really need to focus on getting information out about the need, so that people are well informed about why we are working together and why it is,
He's such a,
now is the time. That's the slow, is, you know, kind of the logo that we have. And I think that that's important, so that any communication that we get out to the papers and things should be focused on some aspect of the need. Barbara's comments today about, and Liz's, about the fact that the sign-up list was at 98 people the first day for their event, you know, in February, sends a huge message out that, you know, we can't put this off and ignore it any longer. And we need to be sensitive to the library, because I think they're feeling very concerned. But you know, a lot of people I know have supported the library too, and they're worried that they're not gonna, you know, this is another chunk of change and they're gonna lose out. So, and none of us want that either. So how can we work together to make sure that, but the purpose for us is to get the need out. Keep explaining it to people so that when they do come to town meeting, whether it's in May this year or whenever, people understand and they can speak to it with accurate information. So,
Thank you.
I don't know if any of you have other ideas about that, but you know, until we get more definitive information.
I think we have, there is the real possibility that somebody could swoop in and buy the DCU building before town meeting in May. So I think continually stating the need, just in case that happens, we're still putting the message out there that it doesn't matter the building, we still have the need, and the town should earmark some money for us. Which I believe is another article for town warrant.
What would happen to this building if we all move over to DCU? Could we sell it? Could the town sell it and make money? No?
This
Any kind of repair would be prohibitive
Oh, yeah?
to anybody buying it, because it does not comply to so many ways.
Oh,
It's very sad, actually, because I know the town, the space, building and space committee tossed around and looked at the idea of trying to make renovations in this building. It was even tossed around, well, if we have a campus in the back, then this building could be converted to senior housing. But that isn't even a realistic thing because of the cost, the structure of the building.
And we don't know what the building is made of.
It's asbestos.
it's an old
It is,
building.
and that's a huge expense,
Old.
just removing the asbestos.
Yeah?
It has to be, if you, there's some law, and I can't quote the amount of money, but you cannot, if you invest in renovations past a certain dollar amount, then the ADA law kicks in and you must make the entire building ADA compliant, which would be exorbitantly expensive also. Elevators, all kinds of things. And so I know that the town building and space group looked at that and talked about that. So that's unfortunate that this is an old building and it's sentimental in many ways. It's been here ever since I've been here in town.
I went to first grade here.
You did. My kids went to school here too, you know, so, but, yeah, so, but it's sad too, but no, it's been looked at. And I don't think, the DCU would not be big enough for all the town employees, plus the seniors.
No.
It would just not work.
No.
It's big enough for the seniors, and maybe a few more town offices, but according to the square footage requirements that are out there, so. So, it's a good thought though, Mary. People have thought about it. Any other questions, thoughts? No? Well, I think it's good that we had this discussion and that we understand, we all understand, and we just have talked about it, so. Do you have anything else you wanna add?
Did you see this article?
So, okay. Then, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
With our agenda? Okay, we will do that. Thank you all. Maureen, you're on. I
Well,
brought
that
it.
just segues me right into.
Oh, you got one?
I brought mine.
I got one too.
It just segues right into our committee on awareness, or subcommittee on awareness. It's a mouthful. Two of the things we talked about this week are the pamphlets, posters that we are trying to get put up around the town, inviting people to come to lunch at the senior center. It talks about checking the menu, it talks about the suggested donation of $2 except for Thursday when it's $3. I have spoken to Gail, who says that at any point, if anyone could not afford either $2 or $3, you just need to let her know and you eat for nothing. Reservations are appreciated. They usually plan on just a certain number of people. And so if you didn't call and make a reservation and you come, you might not be able to eat. So it's always good to call and make a reservation. We put the number for the diner and the number for the COA in red on this poster so that people, so that it stands out. If you need a ride, you can call and make reservations. The van will come and pick you up, we'll bring you here, we'll bring you home, and there is no cost if you are coming to the COA building. So, we'd love to see you. Come and have lunch. So, I have some extras, if anybody wants one to bring, you are more than welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was the first thing we talked about. The next thing we talked about was trying to get information, again, segueing right into this discussion we've just been having. Why do we need a senior center? What is important about having a senior center? How do we calculate how much space we need? How many seniors do we have? How many is the projected for further down the road? And we talked about lots of different things. After lots of discussion, it was decided that this information is going on the front page of the Broadcaster next month. So that people in the town can understand why it's so important that we have a senior center and why we need the space. Today, it was very interesting. The reporter from the Independent was coming to meet with us, and it had been posted that we were going to meet in a particular place. Well, that room was busy. And so, oh, by the way, we had to find someplace else. And that's just another indication of why we need this space, why we need extra rooms, why we need to be able to not be in this one particular little cluster that we're in. Some of the questions that we talked about are how many seniors are in the town, how do you figure out how much space you need per senior, how many people, and Barbara brought that up today, how many people are turned away from a particular function because we don't have enough space. So I think that this is another one of those things where it's going to be good to get information out to the town, but especially to the seniors, to understand why we're doing what we're doing and why we need this. Because we are going to need the support of the people in the town for this to happen.
Right. And people that live in the town now that are in their 50s are gonna be seniors. Before they know it, before they know it,
And
it
that
creeps
10
up
years,
on you.
that 10 years will go by very
It
quickly.
does, yeah. And the other piece of it is too, isn't it, are you planning on having like the fact sheet
Right, we
available for
talked about making
distribution
an FAQ sheet.
Right.
Yeah,
down the road so that people could have it to hand out to people too with the facts on it? So
Right.
that would be helpful.
yes, Bob.
Will that broadcaster have a copy of that?
Yes,
Good.
This is putting
Good.
it in the broadcaster.
Good.
Bob had his hand up first.
Good.
Go ahead, Bob.
Could it be possible that the same article that's going in the broadcast could be sent to the Littleton Independent as an article for them to put in?
we talked about that. We talked
Yeah.
about
Because I think
the
that will
Independent,
reach-
we
that
talked
will
about the
reach more
Lowell Sun.
people.
We
Right.
talked about the Action Unlimited.
And I told
They're
Joy.
not likely to put in a very large article, but they but the Littleton Independent might put one in as they did Paul's letter.
Right.
I told Joy today that we could meet next Friday, or this Friday, to discuss further.
She's,
The editor.
she's very interested in meeting with Liz and setting up a communication.
Great.
So we are trying to get information out to people.
Because the broadcaster goes to seniors, but we need it to also to go to everybody else.
I agree.
Just as a personal example, I had a petition. As a senior in Littleton, I took one of the petitions to my church because there were people that knew nothing about it. And one of the ladies, one of the younger ladies, after she signed it and a few other people signed it, none of whom were seniors, brought it to her work for people in Littleton to consider, and she now has a list about this long of signatures, because finally it was reaching non-seniors, and they were beginning to say, oh, and, you know, the fact that we have possibility of doing this, that it might not cost an increase in taxes, and so forth and so on, they were very excited about it. And yes, they did think, all these non-seniors did think, yes, it is a viable next step.
I agree.
Yep.
So I think that we just need to continue to get the information
Continue
out
to
to
meet
people.
with the friends, because I think that's been so helpful, and I think that we need to continue to reflect that we're working together.
True.
We do. So,
The info sheet isn't done yet.
What about the flyer?
This flyer? Oh, yeah, we could, well, I'm saying, oh, yeah, we could. Could we get flyers to hand out at the luncheon on Wednesday?
oh, yeah,
And then that way,
that Barbara, she's always thinking.
yeah,
Mm.
exactly.
Good.
Okay, but the info sheet's not completed yet.
That's okay.
What kind of
You can say it's
flyers?
coming.
With the facts.
Yeah.
The fact
Fact
sheet.
sheet.
Oh,
The town of Groton is a great model for getting a building. If you ever get a chance to go to their website, the past 2 years, all their agendas, their meeting minutes, it's all on there. They really were so thorough going through all the steps. And I gave Marge a copy of
A feasibility study.
a feasibility oversight committee question and answer. This is from the Groton Council on Aging Board to all the residents in town. And they wrote a letter about why the senior center is needed. Several pages of frequently asked questions, times for get-togethers where they have a coffee meet and greet, stop by and ask us questions, why we think we need a center. So they really went through very thoroughly and covered all their bases. So I gave this to Marge. They even have it in a table format, their question and answers. So if anyone had any inkling of a question about why does Groton need a new senior center, they have every answer in here.
Mm-hmm.
So that might be something
Could I-
to.
Excuse me, ask Barbara a question on your getting signatures. Was that receptive?
Oh, very. We have quite a few copies. And we had people who want to go to Donlands and stand out there and Market Basket and wherever they can. They're allowed. They want to stand out.
Good.
Yeah, very good.
Okay.
it would be helpful if those people had not only the survey, but also a fact sheet that people could look at if they want to know, why would I want to do this? That tells them what's
think
going
the
on.
fact
The
sheet's
one
gonna
thing
be
that
very
was missing in the survey for most people was any answers. They had to be given verbally. And it would be nice to have something to hand them to let them read and see.
This is the fact sheet, and I'll jazz it up a little for handing out.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Do we know if the letter, info sheet, whatever, is going out in the
It isn't really yet.
Littleton Electric
It
Light and
is.
Water?
That is, Nancy's been working on it, and she's been including Barbara, myself, and Liz.
Okay.
And
I know it was discussed, but I don't know.
No, it is.
where
It's in the works, and she worked on it yesterday, and she has revisions, and I haven't read the revisions yet. But anyway, yes, it's in the works.
Okay,
She
because
has
I
been
know
working
that
on
that's
and-
another way that they were trying to get it out to the entire town,
Yeah.
not just to
And
seniors.
it's also been shared, so
Yeah.
it's been very nice.
It's also, it's going on.
Okay. That's all I have.
Well, anyone else have anything else? Any other questions? No, or thoughts? No? Are you ready to move on? Yeah. Yes, okay. So, we're moving on to new business. And the first, basically and only item is in regard to the Littleton Master Plan Implementation Committee. I received an email from Diane Corey, as well as all of these people up here. But it says, I have been requested to send this email to all chairmen of all boards. If a chairman, oh yeah, I don't have to read you that. Please read the email below with regard to the MPIC, and that is the Littleton Master Plan Implementation Committee. Roadmap. There's a MPIC roadmap. And as it states, please share with your respective boards. If you have any questions, please contact Maren Toohill or Mike Zeldin. And so, I looked at this, the document that was attached to this email, and realized it was this big. And this many pages on 2 sides.
Oh, God.
What is this, the master plan?
This is the Littleton Common Revitalization Roadmap.
Okay.
So we have one copy in the office. And I borrowed it from Liz to try to go through it, and I have not yet gone through the whole thing, because it's a little complex, it really is. But it's the revitalization plan, which the sewer project is part of, you know, everything is a part of that whole revitalization, and it's not just the main drag of the, I'm learning, it's down this way, you know, the Littleton Common area is bigger than I thought it was, I learned by going over some of this. So I guess the best way, if you have any questions, get hold of Mike Zeldin or Maren. This can be in the, I'll give it back to her, but not for a few days, if it's okay.
Go ahead.
I just wanted to try to digest some of it myself. And then it would be in the office if you want to, you know, check it out and take a look at it yourself. So I'm informing you so that you're knowledgeable about what's going on here, doing what I was asked to do. But and it's kind of fascinating, because that's a big project. You know, revitalizing the common to have it keep the small town look, but be much more productive. What's he laughing for? What are you laughing about over there?
I just saw the Walker's cookies.
And refreshments for after the meeting, so people can leave with a couple of cookies and chocolates.
Gee whiz, that's our job, Tina.
She's
Not yours. Wait a minute. You got things mixed up here a little. So- But anyway, so that's basically, just be aware that they are proceeding with this, the common revitalization, and they have a roadmap that they've established. You know, they've done a huge amount of work on this, so. And if any of you, there is there's a link so that you can get this yourself if you like it, and I can send you the link, that, you know, and the email address.
Thanks.
You're welcome. So, okay. All right. Any questions about that? Can we move on then to, well, Liz kind of gave us, I think, most of her update, but she might have a few other items to share with us.
Yeah, on my agenda was to discuss the new policy about signing up the first of the month or after, but I think we've discussed that at length. My other, just an FYI about what I'm doing in the office, with Tina's position sadly being vacated, I've really been thinking a lot and discussing with Nicole and Tina what would be good for our office in terms of staff. Do we really need 2 outreach workers doing the exact same thing with all these other tasks that I've asked them to do on top of their outreach jobs? Or would it make more sense to have one of those positions become an assistant director position with some outreach, with some programming, and with some reporting tied in? Now, in our discussions, we thought that would be a good fit for what we do currently and what we will plan to do in the future. If we're projecting ahead, we're projecting to potentially have a new building, and we're projecting that we're gonna be growing at, by 2035, 38 to 40% of the community will be elders. Do we need to have more oversight, more administrative staff to do some management? So I've spoken with Anthony Ansaldi and Human Resources, and I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get ourselves an assistant director position.
Who would do the selecting? I understand that the town administrator rejected the position, so they're gonna be advertising for that, and that. Somebody's gonna be busy.
Yep, so I believe maybe myself and Marge would be doing some interviewing for the Elder and Human Services Assistant Director, if it gets approved. I've only gotten to the step of getting the blessing from Anthony and writing up the job description and doing the vacancy forms, the background I need to do.
And Anthony's here,
Yes.
so Anthony is still here,
Mhm.
you know, and we don't know what's happening with the,
Administrative job is,
no, I think they're going to be discussing that earlier, or tonight too, perhaps.
yeah,
I don't know for sure, so.
no,
But anyway, but I'm sure there'll be people that can help.
oh, yeah.
There's no way I can ever fill Tina's shoes, so I have
No.
to just do something completely different now.
We all know that, but then again, you know, she was a
I
jack
think
of
that's
all
a very
trades,
wise
right?
thing to do, and very, you know, to really look it over and see how can we best, with the use of our full-time personnel, just put in job descriptions that deal with all the needs that we have.
Right, right, that's what I thought.
I think it's a great idea, personally, so,
We shall see.
yep.
And then the only other thing was, we have a lot coming up as far as activities and programming. We have a gait assessment. We have a physical therapist coming in to do gait assessments. We have a catered lunch with a COPD lunch and learn that was rescheduled. We have a drum circle coming up. We have Albert Einstein coming to do an educational presentation, a fun presentation. So there's a lot that's going to be on the calendar coming up, so I hope everyone checks out the broadcaster.
Good.
And that's it.
Busy, busy.
Very busy.
Will they all be listed in the broadcaster?
Yes.
Are they in March?
These are in March. There was one thing that did not make it into the broadcaster for February. We have a vestibular program, which is if you ever feel dizzy or faint or yes.
That was me. I ended up going to see the neurologist.
Yeah. So come to this talk. It's on the 19th.
Yeah, February 9th.
February 19th, downstairs. We'll have some refreshments, and the Neshoba Nursing will be doing a presentation for us.
What time is that? Do we know?
Do you,
There will be a meeting of the dizzy people.
Yeah.
Yes.
the dizzies,
Dizzy's, yeah.
The
that's me.
dizzy.
do you still have administrative assistant Sue?
Yes, she's on.
She's still
She's a
on?
permanent employee.
Yeah, 3 days a week.
Yeah, Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
So did we know what time on the 19th?
I believe it's 10
Yeah,
a.m.
10 to 11.
10 a.m. Oh, I didn't hear that.
That sounds fascinating, actually,
Mm.
yeah.
The gate training sounds good too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited about that.
Okay.
Life Care Center of Neshoba Valley is putting that on for us, sponsoring that.
Good.
I would like to see an updated list of board members.
We do that traditionally in May or June, Mary.
Oh, at
We
the end
always-
of the
we do
period?
it.
Good, good,
If
good.
you look at your list now, it was done July of 2018. So we haven't, and it's not even a year old yet.
Okay, the one I have is 2017 and 18.
Well, you were
Okay.
given the 2018 one.
Okay,
You need to have it under the right tab in your book.
yeah, yeah.
Use your table of contents and get it in the book in the right, place.
Yeah.
Okay? Tina, are you coming or is Nicole
Oh,
coming?
both of us.
Both of you are coming. We have plenty of chairs.
There's
Come.
plenty of chairs.
Yes, we do.
Where is Tina's?
Hi.
You had to come and visit.
Oh, I would love to come and visit, and I'm planning it, so, thank you again for everything. It's just been, a total pleasure, and it's exciting to know that things are moving ahead in such a wonderful way with so much going on with, the strong leadership that we have with Nicole and Liz and the board, and the board's working together, and a lot of extra work that they always put into all the programs. Thank you all so much.
You're going to be very busy.
Yeah,
Usually people that retire are more busy
Yeah, we'll
after
see.
they retire
Yeah.
than when they're working.
That's it. So
Because you
I-
have more free time.
That's it. And I know you all got the January notes, and I don't know if anyone has any questions on them, the numbers or anything like that. Everything seems to be staying, pretty pretty much steady in terms of things. We do keep getting requests for volunteer drivers, especially with the Tuesday schedule. Hopefully, that's going to be resolved soon, and hopefully we'll have a new driver on board. And with the programs coming up, Nicole and Liz, too, have been so busy with other programs. Liz mentioned some, but we also have the March 5th Blue Cross Blue Shield and plans for people with Medicare, your Medicare options at 10 a.m. in room 230. Nicole has put together a nice March 6th recovery conversation support group from 6 to 7 in room 230. And the first one was like last week, and the room was full. I happened to be here at that time when they were coming in, and it was full with a lot of people, so it's really great.
How about the tax assistant program? You have nothing to do.
No, Liz has worked that all out, and right now, Tony is doing the taxes every Friday in the Veterans Office.
Okay.
And he's doing well with that. I don't know if there's gonna be an additional day
Not
or
doing it in the
anything.
Veterans Office, he's doing it down next to the Cooper
In the
Room.
library.
That's the new veteran
That is the
office.
Veterans Office, yeah.
He moved.
Yeah.
He got moved.
Well,
And
my
that's
wife
what's
moved
considered
with
his
him.
office now.
Okay.
That's-
Taxes is all filled up and we have a wait list.
Okay.
That's it, and that's a great
We need
program.
more, for that one.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
It was full last year very quickly.
Well, yeah. Previously, there were two people doing it. So. Need another volunteer. Get the word out there. Retired accountants
Oh,
and
right.
things.
And then the social anxiety group is March 12th and 26th from 1 to 2:30. Nicole runs that. And March 12th, we were having a 3-part series on downsizing, decluttering, and moving on. The February 12th one had been canceled, and they're doing it all in 2 parts, March 12th and April 9th. So look forward to signing up for that. There is a sign-up sheet for that, and that's with Annette DeBiz. She's a Realtor. And she's also bringing some other people, but I'm waiting to hear back who they will be that will come with her. March 13th at 11 a.m., there's Cooking for One or Two with the registered dietitian Denise Mercury from Minuteman Senior Services. And March 11th is Living Alone, and probably Nicole's going to be picking that up for the time being. We will be having it in February, and we're having a job coach, life coach, do a little 10-minute or 15-minute presentation, during that meeting. So that will be the Living Alone group for February. And you've talked about the gate assessments and the COBD lunch. And this month, we have River Court Residences coming on the last Wednesday of the month for the Caregiver Support Group. And Liz Trediak is going to do the March Caregiver Support Group on March 27th for the caregivers at night. So that'll be great. Healing Conversations continues to go on with Neshoba nurses. I noticed this new group of meetings that we got from them include towns like, they're holding it in Clinton and Lunenburg and Shirley, with them coming, I think in July, to do the Healing Conversations in the Littleton area. So those will be booked to be held here. Let's see. I think that's about it, so, thank you,
No.
everybody. No, and thank you, like I said, thank you again to everybody for all the
Oh,
support.
Tina, we're going to miss you.
Thank you. I'm gonna miss everyone, that, so it's just, but I plan to keep in touch, so
That's
thank
great.
you, thank you.
And I think when you've been in human services, That's the hardest part of retiring,
Oh,
is
yeah.
you miss people.
Oh, you miss the people, yeah, and you
Yeah.
know, because you were,
Yeah,
yeah,
you
you
miss
were
the
too,
people,
yeah, and that's it, and
Yeah.
Patty and Mary too, all of you in nursing and everything that you did, you were connected that way. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Both of you.
Thank you. Oh, yes, yeah, yeah, Nicole has, you know, she's put together so much, as you can see on this list.
Well, this
You
is
know-
exciting. I'm excited to hear about Liz's plans too.
You know, I wasn't very nice when Nicole came aboard. When I met her first down in the lunchroom, she looked so young to me. And I said to her, "My, but you're young. Don't worry, you'll age rapidly working with the Council of Aging."
And she
Was
hasn't.
I right? Was I right? Are you
No.
aging?
She doesn't show
That
it.
wasn't nice to say, but.
She doesn't show it though, Mary. She doesn't look any different than the first day when she walked in, so.
You know, if you, just to highlight that, if you divide up, so fiscal year 2017, if you divide up how many people these two saw over the course of the year, they're seeing about 5 people a day for fuel assistance, food stamps, crisis intervention, on top of doing programming, finding people to be speakers for the support groups, running the support groups, arranging volunteer transportation, troubleshooting issues like our van, the tailpipe fell off last week. You have to stop everything and take care of these issues. So they're doing these things on top of
Yep,
just a
she's
regular
aging.
outreach job. They're really incredible. They really are. Thank you guys.
No, that's for sure, yeah. There's no question, I don't think about that. We're very fortunate, we're very
We are.
lucky in town
There.
to have them.
How about yourself?
Me?
Yeah.
She's like, I just said to her earlier, you know, oh my goodness, it's been so crazy since she came back. Are you making it? You know, so, unfortunately, you know, it's all not bad though. It's really good that we're going through this and we, you know, it's exciting.
It is exciting.
But you're very good as a chairperson too.
Well, thank you.
That's for
So,
sure.
all right, may I have a motion to accept the reports? The director's
So
report and the outreach coordinator's report. So moved and seconded.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, we have a unanimous vote. Thank you. Is there any other business to come before the board? Hearing none?
No.
Ben?
I move we adjourn.
I second that.
All those in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.